Hey guys, Jeff PELIZZARO with 18 Strong. Today we're going to talk about golfer's elbow. So another what, why, how series. The what is pain in the elbow. On the inside, we normally call golfer's elbow. Doesn't mean that you have to be a golfer to have this pain, but because this is a golf website, we're going to talk about the things that can cause this, and then a few things for you to not do, and then a couple exercises that you can do to help get rid of this. So first of all, what is golfer's elbow? It's basically, you've heard of tennis elbow most likely. Tennis elbow is on the outside of the arm. Golfer's elbow is going to be right on the inside of the arm. And usually it's pain. It can be pain all the way down the forearm. And what this really is basically stress right on this little bone right here. All of the tendons in your forearm attach right here. So it's the tendons that go from here through the forearm up into the hand, up into your fingers. So anything gripping, flexing here, all attaches right on that spot. So what happens is when there's a lot of stress on that area, this takes up all of the pain or all of the stress, and then that causes inflammation, irritation, and it's really hard to get rid of once you have that, and once that's kind of a common problem, either in your golf game or in your exercises. So a couple things to note. When you're playing, reasons why this could occur is first just lack of strength in this area, and that's usually where people kind of look first, is lack of strength of the forearm or the forearm muscles that then attach here. And while that can be a common problem, what I often note is that you need to look both above and below this joint. Really, in any area where you have pain, you have to look above and below to see what's happening there too. Oftentimes I find that there's either something going on at the shoulder or something going on at the hand, wrist that is not working properly, and so the elbow or this area here is taking up more of the stress, and that's really where a lot of it comes from. So today we're going to look at a couple things that you can do and not do to prevent overtaxing that. So if you think about in your golf swing, when you're getting ready to hit, you've got your hands lagging a little bit, you're coming into this position. If there's not strength at the wrist, strength at those tendons there at the elbow, or if your shoulder isn't stable and you aren't able to really create that stability while you're creating contact, that's all going to put a lot of stress right there on the elbow. So we're going to show you a couple things that you can do to strengthen the shoulder, and then also make sure that in your workouts you're not aggravating that area there. So the first thing is, if you've ever done any kind of rowing exercise or pull-ups, what I notice is anytime you're going into a stressful position, say you're doing a pull-up and we get to that end range and you start to pull, we tend to start to flex the wrist, which ends up putting a lot of stress right on the forearm there. We start to kind of pull our chin up and pull that way, and you're putting a lot of extra stress there. What we want to make sure we're doing is keeping that wrist in a neutral position to take some of that stress off. Now the same thing goes for any kind of a rowing activity. So if I'm going to row, I want to make sure that my wrist is staying nice and straight. So I'll show you from the side here, and then I'll kind of turn and show you from the other angle. But if I'm right here and I'm doing a row, first thing I want to do is kind of lock my shoulder blade. But I'm going to keep my wrist nice and straight, like so. I'm not going to pull the weight up and roll my hand in. I see a lot of people doing that, trying to get that extra little range of motion at the top there. So if I kind of turn towards the camera here a little bit, I don't want to see any motion like that. You can see how that really turns on those flexors there. I want to just row straight back, so I'm feeling more of my back, not feeling any tension or strain in the wrist there. Obviously, the heavier you go, the more grip strength you need to keep that weight in check, and that's going to work on those muscles too. But as soon as you start to pull into that position, you're really putting a lot of stress there. So the first thing is, don't create that flexion in some of your exercises. Now, the other two things, I'm going to show you two more exercises, or two exercises for the shoulder, because if our shoulder and shoulder blade aren't working properly, we kind of stand like this, rounded shoulder posture. If this isn't working back here, our rotator cuff, our scapular muscles, we tend to kind of stand in this position, which first of all is just going to force you to really manipulate the elbow to get into either your golf position or whatever other activities you're doing. So we're going to work on really creating some strength and stability back here with these two exercises. The first one is called a Powell raise. And you're just going to take a real light weight. You could even start with no weight on this one. I'm going to put you on the bench on your side. And so I'll even do it without the weight to start. You're going to get in a nice straight line. You're going to start with your hand up in the air, and you're going to let your hand come right in front of your face. And so what I feel is a little tension in my shoulder blade. I'm kind of keeping the shoulders back, but I feel tension in my shoulder blade. I'm going to make a little adjustment on this Powell raise. I'm going to have you turn your thumb up in the air, and that's going to even turn the shoulder blade muscles on a little bit more. And then the exercise is just going from here all the way back up. So now I'm really squeezing in the shoulder blade back behind me, and then I'm coming all the way back down. So as I'm coming down, I have to control that motion, but I'm also creating this rotation here at the shoulder. I'm not just rotating my wrist, I'm rotating my whole arm and shoulder. So then what we can also do is add that weight in here. Nice good rotation of the shoulder. Coming down, the weight's right in front of me, and it gets nice and tense here. So this is a difficult position here. You're not going to go very heavy. And then you're coming right back up. And so that's a lot of shoulder strength, scapular strength, where you're really creating some good stability there. And that's going to take some of the stress off of the elbow here, because you're creating a much stronger link in the chain here at the shoulder. Now the other exercise I'm going to show you is what we would call a trap 3 exercise. And this is going to work your traps to, again, work on some of that shoulder blade stability. You've probably heard us talk about that a lot on this channel here. This one, you can do many different variations. One of the easiest ways to get in the proper position is just get on a bench, about a 30 degree to 45 degree incline, and you're just going to lie flat on the bench. Shoulders are going to be back a little bit, so I don't want you resting your chin and slouching your shoulders. I want you nice and tall, shoulders are back a little bit, stomach's kind of tight. I'm almost pushing my hips into the bench. And then you can do this 2 arms or 1 arm. I'm just going to take my thumb and I'm going to raise it at about a 45 degree angle straight up towards the ceiling. So I'm not totally straight, I'm not totally out to the side, about 45 degrees here. Raising straight up. Again, a nice big squeeze back here, and then coming down nice and slow. You can then add a little weight. Straight up here, coming down nice and slow. Always working on good control. Nice little pause at the top so you know that you're in the right position and that you're working the right pieces. So just a couple of things there that are going to help prevent golfer's elbow, or hopefully help you get rid of your golfer's elbow. I know seeing this title here, you probably thought we were going to be doing a lot of wrist and forearm exercises. Again, that's not always the cause. We want to look at different pieces. So these are just a few things that you can do to help prevent or get rid of that elbow pain. We're going to have some more videos about this topic, because I know that there's a lot of golfers out there like you that are dealing with this. So stay tuned. We'll have some more videos on golfer's elbow. But train hard, practice smart, and play better golf.